I go to bed at night thinking of new ways to not just use it as an add-on or an enhancement, but really to transform the lesson itself and the activity for the day rather than just taking notes. I try and think of ways that we can implement the Chromebook. In math, I find I'm constantly looking for demonstrations, video demonstrations, or just animations that will help bring the math alive to the students and for the students. Every day I'm thinking of new ways to use the Chromebook. Whereas before with just a few classroom computers, it's just sort of an aside to the lesson, but now it's really become the lesson.
Well, we didn't have good access to computers before. We have a computer lab in the library, but it's always a hassle to schedule the time and get the kids, you know, moving them to a different environment is tough. But with the Chromebooks, it's been wonderful. We have the cart here in the classroom. They get right to work as soon as they come in. They've learned the programs. They've taught me things about the programs. It's amazing the things they've learned. I'm hooked on using the Chromebooks in the classroom. Their level of engagement, that's the best thing. You know, you don't want them to play on it, but you want to allow them time to investigate things and be engaged and discover things for themselves.
The students are very engaged while using the Chromebooks. I think it's important to have a list of goals or objectives while they're using the Chromebook so they know where they're going while they use the Chromebook. And once they have that, they stay focused and on task. As far as the Chromebooks, the technology skills and digital literacy is really important to me, that they have those skills, because especially living where we live in the rural mountain area, they don't have internet at home, and so they don't get to practice those skills like other students would. Just searching the internet or knowing how to use the cloud or buying music off of iTunes. The kids in my class don't have that experience very often. So for me, as far as the digital literacy, I just want them to have the exposure and be proficient at all those skills as well.
Well, management-wise, you need to assign them a Chromebook, and they need to be responsible for it. We've had one key pop off. There's a number on the Chromebook, and there's a number on the desk. If they move desks, they get a different Chromebook. And it's really been simple.
Expectations, expectations. You really have to know what you want from the students, what the end product is. Even if it's just using the Chromebook for an interactive for math, maybe like an electronic algebra tile program that you can use, they need to know exactly what you want from them. There are many ways to get to it using technology. It doesn't have to be the one way that you teach them. They can get there many different ways, but they need to know where they're going. And that can be applied to any of the subjects and really any way that you use the Chromebook.
We use a program called K16 Bridge, and it provides a platform for testing and for assignments. And I create the assignment or the quiz and put it into K16 Bridge. The students log in, they take their little quizzes, like 3 or 4 questions a day. They get instant feedback. And with such big classes as we have nowadays, there's no way I could grade 212 warm-ups every day. But I can write one and put it out there on K16 Bridge. They take it and they get their scores back.
Well, I use Google Forms for summative and formative assessments. So I use them throughout the day. I have just generic forms that they use during math just to do a check for understanding throughout the class. They go to that link on my website and they know to go there. I'll say, okay, it's the time for check what you know. So they go to check what you know and they type in, they have to do their name and they have to give answers for the problems that I expect, and that could be ELA or it could be math. And I can instantly look and see who did not understand it or who has a misconception of the concept, and I can correct it instantly. And really them answering the questions is helping them process what they've learned as well.
It's been very natural. It's been easy for me, and I really don't know why. I haven't really stopped to analyze it, but it just seems like the next step that I needed to take in my classroom. The kids are engaged, they're interested, they're learning self-control. The first few weeks we had trouble where they went to sites that they shouldn't have, but that stopped really fast. And now we have access to educational YouTube, and they've been screened, and they're great. I mean, and a lot of times the videos are produced by students, and that's even more engaging to students when they see other students doing these really creative things with science.
Young people today are it's just intuitive for them to interact with technology. They just don't have that fear that a lot of people have. They are so excited when they discover something that Mrs. Lloyd didn't know how to do, and it happens all day long. I say, everyone stop what you're doing and listen, because you're going to learn something new, or I'll bring the student up to the front of the room and then they will share out with the class. And it just builds this community of excitement, and we're all learning something new and we're all discovering it together, and not one person knows everything, and I have students of different proficiency levels are really good at technology. And so if they are able to share out a few times during the week, they become the tech expert in the classroom, and their name goes up on the job board with tech expert. So whenever there's a problem, I don't have to stop what I'm doing. I send the tech experts to go, and they can go help. And it's just, the kids love helping each other, and the collaborative work that the Chromebooks foster allows the students to be collaborative in a very, it's calm and quiet, and they're just really engaged, and it's because they own it. They own the whole process.